Hey everyone, it's Jason. Today we're going to do an unboxing for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past board game. This is the Works edition, which is essentially the Kickstarter edition. And if it sounds at all sort of familiar, or if you've seen my other videos, I've done changes constant. What change of constant is they cook the framework, lots of the stuff that already existed from Shadows of the Past, and they fixed it. They not that Shadows of the Past is a broken game, but they took a lot of the same exact cards and the overall concept of the game, how it works. Lots of the cards are the same in the game, but they retooled all the miniatures, the storybook, so that made it more of an adventure, or more of like a scenario campaign you could go through. They added AI cards so you could play. Because originally in Shadow of the Past, someone had to play the good guys, someone had to play the bad guys. Change is constant, you can still do that, but you have the option of playing against computer-controlled AI opponents, so everyone can be the Turtles versus the bad guys. But again, you can also play that. They added a lot more characters and stuff in here. It follows the story of the IDW world. I'm not sure exactly how Shadows of the Past follows all that. I know it has, again, it's a lot of, there's like 80% crossover in lots of the stuff. Changes constant. Also, redid all the miniatures, made them all the same size. Shadows of the Past had kind of an issue with that, where some characters were bigger than others, or they weren't size appropriate. And we'll kind of see that when we get there. But yeah, so if you watch my Changes Constant video, or if you're looking at buying one of these, buy Changes Constant. First of all, because it's the newer game. It has like anything that was wrong with Shadows of the Past, if there's any errors on cards or in the rules or anything like that, it's all been cleaned up for Changes Constant. Second of all, Changes Constant. All the characters in this set, or in Shadows of the Past, are in here. Plus, there's more expansions, and they're keeping working on it. They're making a Mutanimo set. They've already had a couple of expansions. They've had, actually, the Changes Constant, and then they had the other big base sets, like 2 big base sets, which cover everything that's in this game. And then they're going to release more expansions as the game goes on. Alright, so I'm going to shove that box out of the way. We don't need that. This, again, is the Kickstarter version. So it has everything in there. It has some awesome artwork on here. The Works comes from, this is Kevin Eastman layered artwork of like kind of the original like Mirage Turtles. That's what they're using. The Works is what they usually call like their collections for those. So that's sort of what this is based off of. And it's just like a giant pizza box, of course. So yeah, there's going to be stuff in here that if you did find, like, the regular Shadows of the Past game, and you wanted to buy it for extra whatever reasons, this isn't going to have, that's not going to have all this, because they did release a couple of, like, I think it was April, Splinter, and Casey Jones's extra characters you had to buy, plus this has some exclusive stuff to the Kickstarter. So just a heads up, if you're going to buy the two, buy the newer ones. 1, they're going to be a lot more regularly available. 2, they're going to be all compatible with each other, and they're going to have more content. Secondly, if you're going to buy this is the one big set Kickstarter that has everything, costs a lot. If you don't buy the Kickstarter one, and you have to try and find all the rest, it's going to be a lot harder. Alright, let's see what we got here. Additionally, I'll bring up the other reason to buy the newer versions is because they also have a Batman the Animated Series version coming out. And then eventually they've talked about releasing the next set that's supposed to come out after that, that's not Ninja Turtle expansions, is going to be an Avatar world. So it's either Avatar the Airbender or Korra. They haven't specified which one. It could be a combination of the both. And then they're talking about making another game which like wholly unique characters, but they're all compatible with each other. Not that they couldn't work with this Changes Constant, or the Shadows of the Past. You could mix and match all of these, you just gotta tweak some of the things a little bit here and there. Alright, anywho, let's actually get into the unboxing. So we have the IDW issue 1. And these are a little bit more, they're not as gritty as the original, like, Mirage comics. But they're more gritty than the original, or than the 80s cartoon. And this is kind of cool. This shows a timeline of how to read the stories. So here's all your volumes. And this is how the storyline actually sets up if you're playing through missions in the new one. You have Changes Constant, Old Enemies, Shadows of the Past, and it goes through all these. Then they have City Fall, which is the second expansion. A second big box starts at City Fall. It has some characters from there. And it goes all the way through all these. And it shows all the different tie-ins. And it's awesome that, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ghostbuster tie-in. Here's all the side ones tie-in. There's a special set for Secret of the Foot Clan. Turtles in Time. The only one I don't see listed on here, I don't see the Batman series, which is also canon to this. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. So check out the other video if you want a little bit more information. This is neat though. Also a Ghostbusters read story. There's one more page where I can't flip through. Alright. Okay, that's not the game. Let's get to the game. Well, actually, before we get to the game, there's some artwork. Just because maybe some of these extra little things might be incentive for you to want to buy this pack if you see it cheap. And these do not want to come out of here. How the heck did we get these out before? There we go. Just some cool artwork from it, and it's signed. At least that one looks like it's signed, but I don't know if that's actually an official signature or not. Alright, so we got the 4 cool, like, poster things. Okay, now it should be the game. Alright, let's set that guy off to the side of it. So here's our rule book. We always love looking at our rule books. Explains all our components. There's a lot of components. Dice, plastic figures, maps, comics, hero sheet, cards, tokens. Then all the different environmental tokens. Game setup. I mean, this looks fairly similar to how the other one's set up. Break down how the characters work. How the dice work is has the unique dice sharing mechanic. I mean, because it kept that, all that stuff, it crossed over. I think most of the cards that they have in the game are the same. Like, they just took the system of the game that was made, and I think it said it was created by Kevin Wilson, and it's actually listed in the new box too. He still used his system, so like, they didn't change any of that. They just updated it so that AI made things a little bit more in line, tweaked some of it, made it look different too. They didn't just take the cards out of the one box and shove them into the new one. Yeah, if people like this video, and want me to, or maybe if I just get really bored someday, I'll go through and I'll do an actual, like, maybe a comparison of the two things, just to show how different they are. So yeah, here's not all of them, but here's a bunch of different tokens, and they're double-sided, so I'm not going to pull them out right now. But you get, like, storage containers, smoke blasts, sewer covers, trash cans, trash bags, security cameras, cards. These are all different things that they can interact with. The different borders mean different things. Like blue, I believe, is elevated terrain. Yellow is like mid terrain. Green can be cover, like you can hide inside of them or hide around them. It's just the 2 sheets in there, right? Yep. Alright, so now I can open that up. Went up right away. This is also only 2 sheets. So here's all our focus counters, our KO counters, some pizza tokens for small health, pizza tokens for big health, and then just another sheet of those. And then on the bad side, they look like swampy pizzas. Alright. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got. So we got a couple of booklets here. We have the Adventure Comic Kickstarter bonus battles. We have Adventure Comic Book 1 and 2, and Adventure Comic Book 3 and 4. So, like, the original one, not the original one, the newer one, went through and played this first in the Shadows. So it kind of gave, like, actually some pictures of the comic book. Otherwise, it kind of seems about the same. Here are terrain cards, which are something that I don't, which are look like they're different. They didn't have those. Bonsai Bros. And here it's showing how everything's lined up. Like, use these figures, use their cards. Put your cards and stuff here. I don't know, this map looks a little bit nicer. To some extent, where it shows, I don't know, you have to compare them. It's not really one's better than the other. They're just set up differently. But it does kind of go through the story of the comic book, which is, again, what the cool thing was. But I think in the new one, they just tweaked some of the stuff. Plus, the books are a lot bigger. This is more like a mini comic size. The other ones are like full big, like, magazine size. Also, it looks like, because this maybe came out really early, it looks like they're doing a lot more, like, this is basically getting through, like, issue 1 or 2, and I feel like the other one maybe, got through some of these a little bit quicker. Like, it tried to encompass more of the story, plus they also added stuff from, like, especially the Kickstarter one, I know, they added other things from the other stories, from, like, the video games and stuff. So if you're getting the Kickstarter of the new one, you're gonna get a lot more characters that aren't available in here, that aren't even in the in the comic book. Plus, you're gonna get, like, scenarios from, like, the video games and stuff like that. And then we have the Kickstarter Battle, which I'm not sure. They might have some of those in here. Save the Studio, Rooftop Rush, and Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. So this is a neat one. Shredder's coming to kidnap Kevin Eastman. Can the heroes fight through the evil hordes? And that looks like these are like little mini campaigns thing. So it went through like the two different stories there. And then Rooftop Rush is a story, and you get 2 different battles in there. And it looks like this one's supposed to simulate the Mirage comic ending, where you fight Shredder at the end. And then this should also be the Mirage one, where they fight. They show the original one, but I think it's supposed to be probably based off the Mirage comics. And then Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything, which was one of the name of the comics, but I don't know if it's based off of that. I think it's just some of the stuff from their series. There's a picture of Kevin Eastman's Northampton studio. Northampton's a location in the comic books. Alright, that is that. Alright. Bunch of little baggies. Tons of cards. And character cards. So we got some dice here. These guys are, I feel like they're bigger than the other ones. But then they also reverse the colors for the turtles, because in the other game, the dice are like orange, blue, red, purple, with green inserts, and this one they made them green. So it's also, I kind of like this, is like, being someone that's like, I got both games, I can mix and match components if I like one thing over the other. Like maybe some of the colors of the dice. And like this one, I believe these are like Casey's dice, April's dice, and Splinter's dice, if I'm correct. Because initially you could only play as the 4 turtles. And even in the new one, if you buy one set, you get the 4 turtles and Splinter, and if you buy the other base set, you get Casey Jones, April, Hob, Angel Bridge, and Slash, I believe. Like you get other characters that aren't the turtles, which is really cool. Like, depending on what your like which base game you should buy out of the other ones, really just depends on what game. Like, I would say buy both, but if you can only buy one, it's just kind of like whichever one you feel works for you. So here's all our different maps. Yeah, and not having the other one sitting right next to me to compare, I feel like they highlighted these squares a little bit more, but maybe they didn't. But it's just like terrain, like different hindering terrain. And I wonder how many of these maps are the exact same. I'll have to do some sort of comparison video. So here's like a dock, just to see if how many of these maps they actually reused. Regular city street. And then like here's the turnstile, going down into the subway. So a lot of these do look really familiar, but there's the office. And there's a top of a building with it's like, I might guess this is a pool, but it could be a skylight. If there's a skylight, that'd be cool. Just a good old generic empty room. Those are, always nice to have. There's a big rooftop you can run around on. Here's some more sewers. Open street. Open subway track. Separate rooftops. I like that. You can jump across or fight across them. Again, big old empty room. You might be like, well, why would you want empty rooms? Because you can put different tokens and stuff in there. Makes it a little bit more interesting. And then this was a Kickstarter exclusive one. So it's probably this too, just an open one. This is Eastman's office. So you can play that one special Kickstarter mission. But yeah, that's definitely cool that they had this in here. You can see like all the different little turtle things all around it and everything. Like, I mean, that's probably something you're only going to use for like specific missions, but like, or that one, like you're not going to mix it in with other things, but still, it's pretty cool. Alright, let's look at the big character cards. So these are also, I believe, the Kickstarter ones. These are the Mirage versions, the original. Yeah, so here's one big difference I can already tell you right now, is they have their stats. They have 3, 2, 1, and they just have move, attack, defense, skill, and focus. In the newer one, or in the newer game, they have all them things, but they have them pictured as icons. Then that way they can reference those icons and other things rather than having to keep using the words. Raph has 6 action dice instead of 3, however you cannot share. Other heroes may share dice as usual. And this Raph is a separate character in the new one. Like, he was a special Kickstarter only character. And then they have a peach on the back. So here we got Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Donatello. And then we have Master Splinter, because this would have been the expansion characters. Or if you got the Kickstarter like this, you got them all at once rather than waiting to get them. Buy them separate, I should say. And then, oh, here we got an Ultimate Shredder. That's cool, the Mirage version. Leader, move, attack, evil, infinite. That's funny. Level 99. Mouses. And then those guys have a bad slice of pizza on the back. So I think the Mirage pictures on there, the Mirage ones are the exact same, they just have the different artwork. Oh, come on, get over there. Alright, here we have Casey Jones. Yeah, Bebop. Oh, so that's different. Cost, 2 focus, enhanced split clan Bruiser. So that's something different I haven't seen before. Bebop's chainsaw reverter easily cuts through armor. Any defense roll made against Bebop attacks are made. So they added like they have text in here kind of talking about the things. They didn't really do that in the other one. They just listed the abilities. So here we have April with her stealth suit. April's a stealth suit and gravity gauntlet special moves. Alright, why do I feel like there should be more here? Because there is. There's Rocksteady. Rhino Charge. Just the 4 of them in that one. Alright, we got one more pack. Yeah, so if we compare, like, this raft to that raft, it's the exact same. Just a different artwork picture on there. So, like, I wouldn't have bought, like, specifically for the other artwork. Like, that doesn't make a difference. If they have different abilities, that's different. But Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello. We have Master Shredder, Commanding. Old Hob, Karai, Alopex, a Foot Clan Bruiser, the Foot Clan Elite, Street Thug Brawler, a Foot Clan Ninja, and a Street Thug Gunner. Alright, that was our turtle characters. Alright, let's look at the actual cards that you can use for the characters. So like in the way this game is played, I guess I really didn't explain it, but basically you're playing as miniatures on one side versus the other, and you have, you're trying to do something on the board. Sometimes it's defeating, all the bad guys. Sometimes it's getting your heroes from one side to the other board, or maybe you have to pick up an item and do something different. And then during your turns, on your character cards, they'll have the different stuff you can do, like how many spaces you can move, how much you attack, is how many dice you roll, to defend, your skills and your focus, play stuff into your abilities. Down here it's going to show you a skateboard for movement, so you roll your dice, That's just neat as a shared mechanic. So you roll 3 dice and you share 2 dice with the other people. So you always have 5 dice, but you can kind of help out your friends. So if they need a movement, you can put a movement on the outside. Then that way they can share your movement dice. Or maybe they need extra range where Raphael here has double range. That could definitely help out somebody else that maybe doesn't have range. Or if we look at Mikey, I believe he has double movement. So someone needs a lot more movement, he could share that. And so for each one you roll, you get to move that many spaces, or do a melee attack, or ranged attack, or defense, or chi lets you heal. And that's how that works. And then you play cards. Heroes have cards that let them. I think these are all the villain cards. Yeah, heroes have various cards that give them extra abilities to do. Villains, you play cards out of your hand to do stuff, and they still have to roll dice to spend them. So like Shredder here has cease this foolishness. One played either gain 1 focus or draw 3 cards from the villain deck and discard 3 cards. So it lets him kind of like stack his deck. Ooh, they all have the same artwork. I don't like that. I don't like cards that do that. Take down the mutants. So it's well active. Any double hit resulting in the roll by the Ninja Clan count as triple hits instead. I'm not going to go through and read all of these, but when you failed me for the last time, now strike them down. And then we have Foot Clan Ninja, and I believe the ×2 means how many different ninjas you can activate. I'm not sure what the shell means. So destroy them. What are you fools waiting for? So when you play these, this is what you get. So if I played this, he gets double movement and a sword. If I played this as the bad guy, as a thug gunner, I can either get a movement and I get a double range. So it's basically what card you play indicate what character you can use and then what abilities they can do. So flank them. The brawler crack their skulls. Watch out. And then now you have another Shredder. So they have different colors, which just when you're playing, it's just to show the difficulty of them. So some might only say use just the green Shredder. Some might say use the green and the blue Shredder. And that in the newer games the same way. It dictates what sets of cards you're using for that storyline. Maybe to show experience, or maybe to offset the master card doesn't have so many more cards than the minions, so you're not only drawing the same thing for the same character. Here, my destiny to conquer. You will not prevail. I am unyielding. I am unstoppable. You'll die for this insolence. We have Cry. The Foot is family. Oh boy, look at this card. 2 movement, and then 3 swords. Melee strikes cannot be combined with each other. And that's why they have them separate. So she has to move, she can move again, and she can attack 3 times. But she can't. She can either like move all at once and do it, or she can like attack, move, type of thing. Your lives now belong to the Foot. So here's Alopex. So like, and the difference here is Alopex would have to move two movement spaces, or equivalent of whatever her move is, and then she could do a double attack, but she can't separate them. Here I come. I'll gut you. Stay away from me. We have Old Hobbit. The old 1-2. Just let me catch my breath. Get in there, boys. We have the Bruiser, Foot Clan. That don't even tickle. Rawr. You're a big one, aren't you? Some of these I can tell they crossed over. Come here. The Elite, be prepared for anything. Rush them. They will learn to fear us. And then the Foot Clan Ninja, we have some Crush Thems. After them, beware of their tricks. Thug Gunner Minion, flank them. Can't you idiots hit anything? The Brawler has get them and watch out. I mean, very basic, but it makes sense. Brawlers are your basic, Foot Ninja are a little bit better, then it's like Elite Ninja, then it's your boss characters. Foot Clan Ninja, bring them, or don't let them escape. So we got some red ones. The Foot Clan is Eternal. Some Thug Gunners, we got shoot them and mow them down. So this one's showing more of like their range stuff. And then the Brawler, get them and crack their skulls. And then here we have a regroup card, so you gain 1 focus. After shuffle this into the villain deck and discard and make a new villain deck. So you draw this and you gotta reshuffle all your cards back in. Alright. Got a little mini pack here. This is Splinters. So Splinter Master. So these are special abilities, and I believe their focus number, or their skill number, determines how many of these cards they can have. So some have 2, some have 4. You know, I don't think anyone has 4, but they get, that just shows how many of the different ones they can use. So Splinter has Fury, so he gets extra hits. Discipline, double blocks. Grace, some extra attacks. Heal the Spirit. Meditation. Remember your training. Master Speed. I like these are all different artworks, so I like this. And Knowledge. So choose an enemy figure. The villain player discards all cards in their hand corresponding to that figure, then refills their hand. So, like, there's a card like this in the new one, too, but it's only going to work if you're playing against the villain characters and not slashes versus katanas. And not the AI mode. If you're playing the AI, they don't have cards. They just automatically... They have different, the big character cards, they have different versions. They show what they do, they show who they attack. It's... The AI versions, I guess you could say, is slightly easier because the character you already know what the characters are going to do. You can see that guy, okay, he's going to attack whoever's here in this line of sight. Where if you're playing against an opponent player who plays the actual cards, they could choose which character to activate, in what order, and this and that. But that actually makes the game fun. I've only played the AI one, and so far I really like it. It works really well. Alright, Casey Jones, Walk It Off, Gungala. And up here must be their, do they have a reference to that? Yeah, it's their type here. And that's in case there was multiple versions. They probably figured out if they make, and that's the difference here, because this is saying, this Casey Jones only works with Walk It Off. Versus the other one, they don't distinguish that. Any Leonardo card can use any Leonardo card. And the same thing for all the different turtles. That way they can make more different character card versions without having to create a new deck of cards for each one. Walk It Off, chip off the old block. He has Home Run, Guiding Spirit, Skull Bash. April O'Neil, just a beta tech version. Gravity Gauntlets. Second Wind. Now, I have different things down here. Hers has a pizza, his has a focus. Some of the bad guys have turtle shells. I'm not 100% sure what those do. Level-headed. First Aid. Self-defense. Slippery. And Stealth Suit. And then we have some ally cards here. A little handprint on the back. That's kind of neat. This is just like a high five or a hand versus the new game where it's a cell phone. like you're contacting your allies. So you have Leonardo. So this is what you can do if you're playing and you're not using one of these characters. You can add them in as an extra help. Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael. Special Kevin Eastman card. Place 2 focus on this card. During this battle scenario, any hero may spend 1 focus off this card to start their turn to a 1 unused non-blocking prop token to the map at the end of this battle. Fugitoid was also an exclusive in here. Take 2 focus tokens, put them on any object on the map that have a focus check associated with them. The difficulty of this focus check is used by 1 for each focus token. Well, that's cool. Makes it a little bit easier. Alright, got some more cards here. If I can just get this open. Alright, there we go. So I have some more allies. We have April, Casey Jones, Master Splinter, Woody Gherkins. Lets you increase it up. He's a pizza guy. Angel Bridge. And then we have the character cards. So we have Leonardo. It's a Leaping Strike. Slicing Dice. Double Slash. I'll Hold Them Off. Probing Attack. Clash. And Leonardo Leads. Donatello. We have Spin Attack. Pole Kick. Fling Person. Guard. Bow Staff Defense. And Does Machines 84. And I think pretty much all these cards are, except for maybe tweaking some of the text to, if they found something that was wrong, they're the same cards that are in the new one. I think I've literally seen people playing the new version of the game with these cards, because maybe they like the layout of these better. Jump Kick, Hurl Sai, Kick Shell, Burning Rage, and Cool But Rude. Michelangelo gets his Double Chuck, Low Blow, I'll Throw You, Whirling Shield, Coming Through, and Party Dude. And then I'm going to skip these terrain cards for a moment. Alright, we have some more Shredder cards. Your Destiny is to Fail. I Am Unimpressed. There Will Be No Rest. Enough. Cry has Cry Destroy Them. You Cannot Beat the Foot. Precision is a valuable asset. Boy, there's a lot of range there. Alopex, this is more than you deserve. Alopex, you may join the battle. Rawr. Old Hob gets Dodge and Jab. You Think You're So Smart, I'll Knock Your Block Off. And then we have some Bruisers, I'll Crush You to Bits. And then Rawr. And then Come Here, and the Elite get Be Prepared for Anything. Death from the Shadows, and Swift Strike, and then the Ninja also Destroy Them. Alright, and then the last set of cards are some terrain cards, which these are not in the new ones. So Unstable Terrain, Grinder Out. Oh, it's just like tip cards. That's actually kind of cool. Manhole Covers, maybe Throwing. Open manholes have no game effect. Throw Object, Covered Terrain, Take Cover. So it's kind of showing what you can do on each one. You have Throwing Objects. Here's how you throw it. Here's what Covered Terrain is, how you can take cover. Slow Terrain, how rough terrain works. Obscuring Terrain, Harmful Terrain, plus their colored borders. Elevated Terrain. Elevated Terrain 2, how to climb. What it costs to do it. Locked Doors. Cameras. Blocking Terrain, and Crouch. So I love these. This is awesome. They should have had these in the new one. I say that they do have a big giant sheet though that explains a lot more stuff on there. I just kind of like the little aspect of having a card that I can hand someone specifically for that effect. I want to look at, we got the figures left to go, and then we're done. I wanted to look at the rule book quick if I can find it again. I'm thinking that thing in the bottom corner of them cards was the cost. So special moves, page 14. Yeah, that's what that is. That's their cost on the bottom. So, like, it's saying, like, this card for Shredder is free to use, but it costs Donnie 1 focus to use that, or it costs 3 movement to grind a rail. And then, these guys, they'll say, number of units is activated, this card's activated by, there's a defense icon, and then when it does it. So they get special defense icons for their abilities. I don't honestly remember if that was in the other game or not. If they had special defense icons on their cards. It's probably because I haven't played those, so I don't look at them too often. Alright, now we're going to look at all the miniatures, and that's all we got left for this. If I can get this box out. This was kind of a pain to get out the first time. Oh boy. It's a good storage solution for this box though. It works, it's just kind of hard to get out. Alright. The trays of miniatures. I'm just going to pop each one out and we're going to look at them like 2 at a time, I think, maybe. So there's our Karai. Here's our April, or gauntlets. There's Old Hob, this is the Bruiser. That's the other thing I like to like the other game is because they have the villain Old Hob where he has kind of like that outfit, which he does in the comics. Then they have the hero version, which they gave him, which is like a trench coat. But you could really use either version together. There's Splinter. That's how we'll have him. That's even part of me for buying all these extra miniatures because like Alopex had a hero and villain version. Is that if you're playing as him, you can use whichever version of the character mini you like better. And some of these are actually pretty cool. So I could always use some of these as well if I wanted to. Let's see, who else we have? We have 2 different Shredders here. We have the Mirage Original Ultimate Shredder. And then we have the Super Shredder here. And I dropped him. We have the Elite Foot Soldiers. One thing I loved about this for the Kickstarter version was we have Rocksteady here, but then we also got a human Rocksteady, and I loved that they made human versions of these characters. Like one of the things I was like, oh, it'd be awesome to have a human version just if you wanted to do something different, or have them be like elite gunners or whatever. And then we got Bebop, so it's human version. and his boar version. You got Casey Jones. That's really cool poses. Or you like hockey swing. That just stick got bent a little, but that's fine. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. The mouses in this game are huge compared to the other ones. The newer game they made them smaller, so you can actually fit 3 mousers on one side. These guys are the same as everybody else. It's a mouser per spot. Where the other one, they made them little miniature ones. But that's also a cool thing, because I thought, like, hey, you could like use these mousers with the other ones. So I can be like, hey, here's some medium ones, here's some big ones. We have the Bruiser foot soldier and the regular one. And now this is sort of the issue, is look at the size difference here. I mean, they're like twice the size. I mean, you need to you compare some of these other guys. So like, here's the 3 different ninja sizes. And you can kind of say, like, he's bent over, but he's actually a lot smaller. So the 3 ninjas are all different sizes. But then even, like, if you compare, you know, like, some of the humans, April's a lot bigger than Cry. You know, and April's is almost bigger than Bebop. There, it's like, they didn't size proportion their characters very well. Just sort of, like, I mean, I get it. It happens, but it also kind of takes you out of the game when your characters are 2 different sizes. So, like, here's the 2 gunners. They're the same size. Thug Gunner and Thug Brawler, or Brute. I don't remember which one he's called. I think that was all the different characters that weren't turtles. Alright, let's look at the turtles then. Try and grab the same ones. So we have these turtles. Leonardo and Raphael. These are the original Mirage turtles. One reason you can tell they have tails. Yeah, which is really weird. Because they got rid of them in the later series. And there is Michelangelo and Donatello. And then we have the new versions. They're like the IDW style ones. I don't know, they made their heads on here, honestly, made them a little too, like, up and round. But still, they're, more alternate sculpts I can use for all my characters, so I'm not going to argue. There's Michelangelo. I love that, like the nunchuck under the arm. And there's the wrap, and he has like in his hand there instead of holding it by the handle. So if we compare the two, this is more of like their classic one. Then they made their heads, I think, just a little bit too round on here. But you like the poses are kind of neat. Compare the 2 Donatellos. So like this Donatello doesn't look bad for the IDW. His head's more of that shape. Like they just basically took that head and put it on there. Oh, that's Leonardo. Because I am looking at the wrong one. That's why they look the same. Here's the Leonardo one. There we go. Still neat, like the kneeling down pose with the 2 swords out, where this one he only has the 1. Definitely cool. Here are the 2 Donatellos, like where he's holding it, and there's like more of an action pose. And the Michelangelos. There's this holding his double nunchuck. He looks cool, but so does that pose. Again, I just don't really like the heads. And I think that was all of the different miniatures, other than the fact is that there's just a bunch of each one. Alright, so that's what I have for... I can't pick the box up because I have stuff in it. But that's Ninja Turtles, Shadows of the Past, the original game. Check out my videos for Change the Constant, City Fall, and the other games in the newer series. Which, yeah, you can use some of these scenarios will work with the newer one, but there's tweaks you have to do. It's not 100% compatible. The same way, like I did say, they're going to make Batman and Avatar. They use the same idea system, the same boards, but there are differences in them, so they're not going to be 100% compatible, just like straight out the box. Because you'll have to, like, obviously the dice symbols will be different, plus things like the Batman series is, the Turtles is more based on action, like you're supposed to be running up, getting to combat, getting to fighting. The Batman one was more based on trying to like complete a mission or maybe like stealth. And they also added a thing where the villains in that game all like you, because they're all henchmen, they work together, they use like walkies and stuff, so if one villain can see you, they're all considered to be able to know where you're at and see you. Whereas this game, because they're kind of ninjas, everyone's sort of like ninjas and it's stealthy. In that sense, even though it's more of a combat game, is that they made it so only people that can see you are ones that can physically see you. So if you're hiding and they can't see you, they won't attack you. They're not going to be running around looking for you. Alright, that's what I got for today. I'll probably do a video comparing like the different cards and stuff. I'm not going to maybe go through every single card, but just kind of show off some of the differences between the two games. But that'll be a later date. See you guys. Bye.